Okay, give her tablet, baby. Hello, everyone. How are you? Thank you all for tuning in. I'm so excited for you to join in on the fun here. Sorry, let me turn off these notifications real quick. So, do not disturb. I don't want it to get in. Let's see. Say hello. Say where you're coming in from. I forgot to add a title to this. Let's see if I can do it quick. Nope. Not there. Let's see. Postpartum. I don't know why it did that. Partum. So today's topic is going to be about postpartum depression. So a lot of people don't understand postpartum depression, and I really, try to educate people. Like my thyroid issue, I have a thyroid group, so I try to educate people on thyroid. And then every other day I go live on about health, and I'm trying to educate people so they understand. And maybe you're going through postpartum depression and your spouse doesn't know what's going on. Sometimes when you're living with postpartum depression, you don't even realize that you're going through postpartum depression, and you need someone to help you. Many don't realize that they have it until they're so deep in postpartum depression that it could cause you to lose, your spouse. It can cause your spouse to be distant from you. And with both of my children, when I had my first child, I battled postpartum depression so bad, not to hurt anybody, but it was just I was just in a dark hole. It felt like I could not climb out of it. I couldn't escape my own mind. It was just I think it was onset from having to do everything. I was a single mom. I had no help. It was just really, really hard, and it was difficult. And being a parent alone is hard when you have help, but doing it when you don't have help or the support that you need can be really difficult as well. So I swore after having my first child, after coming out of the postpartum depression, I would never have another child, because it triggered it, and I was I never want to experience that again, because it was just horrible. So postpartum means after birth. The baby blues, some people will call it, or feeling sad or empty. They happen within days of giving birth. But for some people, it can last just 3 to 5 days, maybe a little bit longer. But if it lasts any more than 2 weeks, you have postpartum depression. And it's serious, and it affects your behavior. It affects your physical health. It, affects your day-to-day life. And 1 in 9 new moms have postpartum depression, or did have it, or went through it and don't even realize, because they didn't know what it was, or what it was like, or what it was even named. Because I heard the word postpartum depression, but I never realized that I was going through it at the time, right? So how do you know if you have postpartum depression? You could feel restless, you could feel moody, you could feel sad, overwhelmed, you could cry a lot. Some people have those, thoughts of hurting their child or themselves, but there could be no interest in the baby. There could be no energy or motivation to do things like your day-to-day life that you typically would do. You may eat too little, or you may eat too much, or you could sleep too little or too much. But you could also have trouble finding focus or focusing on tasks, or your memory could escape from you. And some people will call it mom brain. But mom brain does exist, but there is issues with memory problems, and you sometimes could feel worthless, or you could have headaches, you could have aches and pains. And a lot of time, us as women, we try to take on everything, and we won't tell anybody because we feel guilty, or we feel ashamed or embarrassed, or we could be viewed as like a bad mom. And it's sad, just like around mental health. We need more support in this world for mental health. So a lot of people wonder what causes postpartum depression, and what causes it is the hormonal changes. So when you're pregnant, your estrogen levels, your progesterone levels are super high when you're pregnant. And then within 24 hours of giving birth, they drop to regular levels. And those sudden changes can lead to postpartum depression. They could also lead to low levels of thyroid hormone, and then that can trigger hypothyroidism. I know it did in me. I developed hypothyroidism after the birth of my first child, so I was battling hypothyroidism, and I was battling postpartum depression, and I developed anxiety all together. So yes, if you have a history of depression and bipolar disorder, you're more at risk. If you have a family history of postpartum depression or regular depression or bipolar, you're more at risk. If you were depressed when you were pregnant, you're more at risk. If you have relationship or money problems during your pregnancy or right after, you're more at risk. People that are younger than 20, people that have alcohol issues, illegal drug issues. You could simply have a special need child at home that causes you to be stressed out more than you would typically just by having one child. If you're battling with difficulty breastfeeding and you're trying your hardest and you feel like nothing's working and you're just like, oh my God, I just don't understand why everything has to be going on. Or if you simply had an unplanned or unwanted pregnancy, that can trigger postpartum depression. But you have to understand that there's help for this, and it's okay, and it's not your fault. And while you're seeking help, there's some things that you can do. Try to make sure you're getting adequate rest when the baby's resting. Don't try to do too much. Make time for you. Remember who you were before you had your child. Do things that make you happy and bring you joy as well. And then talk about your feelings with someone. Have that special someone that you can go to talk to. You can also, that's the joy of Facebook and Instagram. There's different groups and pages and things like that where you can find other people just like you, even if it's something completely different, like anxiety, depression, anything that you're going through, thyroid issues, high blood pressure, different things like that. You can literally search them on Facebook and there will be tons of groups that come up. But remember that while you're going through this, don't make major life changes right after birth, and you have to understand that if you leave this untreated, you may not have enough energy. You may have trouble focusing. You may feel moody or unable to care for your child. So being aware is going to be your major part of figuring out how to fix the issue. Awareness, self-awareness is going to be the huge thing. And know that there's always people there that can help you. Even if they're complete strangers, you can feel free to always message me. I can help as much as I possibly can or answer. I'm not a doctor, but I am somebody who has lived through postpartum depression, and twice. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Feel free to click the share button because, sharing is caring, but also sharing can help other people as well. You never know who's going through postpartum depression. Like I said before, they may be too scared to come out and talk about it. They may be too scared or ashamed or fear of judgment because that's society. People are so judgmental of what others are going through. And they have absolutely no idea how they would feel if they went through the same thing, or how they would act if they were given that same path. So I hope y'all got some value from this. Feel free to click the share button, and I hope y'all have an amazing day. Talk to you soon.